Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Toonami Squad Sessions podcast. I'm your host, Sam, at Sam299. With me today, we have the other Sam.
Hola.
We have Logan
Yo,
and Phantom.
Hello.
And I meant to get this recording last week, but news just keeps happening. It's funny because I wanted to wait for a bit of news to come out. And then when I decide, oh, let's just do it after Nijikamo ends, all of a sudden we get a bombardment of news. So that's fun.
you were
So,
doing your best to avoid us getting out of date immediately.
Yes, and for some reason I still feel like we might. Anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So let's start with what are we watching, and this time I'll be fast about it, and we'll all be fast about it. So, at the time, my original planned stream date in April didn't happen, but in that last 2 weeks, I was killing myself watching an insane number of anime in a short time. Don't do it. It hurts. But I partially finished the rest of my list of old Toonami shows to get through, which was the Adult Swim stuff. So I'm just gonna get brief one-sentence reviews on all that I saw. Dead Man Wonderland, amazing. I can understand why everyone loves season 2. Casher and Sins, I heard no one talk about it. Sam said it was mid. I checked it out. Sam was wrong. Silver is not the only Casher and fan out there. Good show. What did I see after? Was it Space Dandy? Yeah, I think it was Space Dandy. I saw it in the past when it reran, but I fell asleep half the time. But this time I saw it with fresh eyes. Amazing. I can understand why everyone loves it. And Space Dandy, Dandy tends to be in mood sometimes. Not gonna lie. What did I see after? I think after that I saw Hellsing Ultimate, which is funny because I've always seen the Hellsing Ultimate abridged parody, but I never actually saw like the actual like Hellsing, like the vanilla version of it. So that was actually kind of a fun experience to watch. And
I can't watch that without thinking of the abridged version, unfortunately.
yes, like I was watching it the whole time, and it was literally I was just quoting the abridged series. And I'm trying to think. Oh, and then after this was the fun part for me. My actual first anime, because I started Toonami when Kill la Kill was on the air. So then I got to Kill la Kill, revisiting it for the first time in I think 9 years. I'm actually really glad I did. It was my second anime behind DBZ Kai, and oh lord, I can see that when they played on Toonami, there was some censors because. Yeah, seeing some of the stuff I didn't see on Toonami was certainly an experience. But I really liked Kill la Kill, and I actually didn't know there was a 25th episode. Silver shared that with me, so I kind of felt like over 9 years later, and I had a bit of closure or whatever. After that, Michiko and Hachin, great series, kind of teary at the end, and all that. I like the whole thing with Michiko. It's never explained if they're biologically related, and I don't understand. Anyway, continuing on. Then I think after that was the last one, which was Parasite, and Parasite, it's funny because I didn't like. I remember seeing the promo for it, and I didn't like it at the time, just because I didn't like seeing all the heads going everywhere and just the amount of gore on screen. And now I'm I can't believe I slept on this for so long. It's so freaking good. So I just want to say, out of all the old shows that I saw, my biggest surprises were Casher and Sins and Parasite. After that, I watched Berserk 1997, sponsored by Discotech Media. You're welcome, Logan.
Thank you.
And now I'm going through Soul Eater, because I owe Silver and Steve. And that's it for me. Sam?
Okay, so obviously I watched Licorice Recoil, which we'll talk about in a minute. I also checked out the original Trigun series a while ago. Great show, still holds up to this day. Um, Other shows I watched Gundam, The Witch from Mercury, because Licorice Recoil had lesbians, so I was like, okay, let me watch another lesbian show. Oh, that was pretty good. I will say, like, the first half of it is a lot better than its second half. Its second half is kind of meh, it's whatever. Outside of those, I've been also checking out Delicious in Dungeon, that's on Netflix. It's actually really good. It's very gamey. If that can be described for a show. It feels like a D&D type game. It's a good show. I recommend it. And I think that does it. I don't think I've checked out anything else recently.
All right, then, Logan.
So I've been rewatching the first Gundam Seed series since I saw Gundam Seed Freedom again back at the beginning of the month. And so I've kind of been in a Gundam mood, so I've been rewatching that. I also started rewatching Eureka 7 because somebody put out a new upscale that's like built off the old Blu-rays, and it shockingly looks better than the actual Blu-rays do. So I originally was just checking it out to see how the like actual video work came out, and then I was like, I forgot how good this show is. So I think I'm 10 episodes in. I'd have to look at my Plex server, but anyway, yeah, been rewatching that. Probably won't watch the sequel because meh. Might finally watch the movies for that though. The like sequel movies they did, or they're sort of reboots. I don't know, whatever they are. Otherwise, I finally got back to watching Fallout. I'd watched the first 3 episodes a few weeks ago, and I finally managed to find time to pick up watching a few more episodes of that. I have a couple more episodes to go. Might try to finish that this weekend. And otherwise, Star Trek Discovery is about to finish up. Its penultimate episode was this week, so yeah, that's about it.
I forgot about Fallout. Fallout and Knuckles I saw too. Oh,
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah. I still need to watch Fallout, so I'm just behind on that one. Oh well.
Fallout was really good. Knuckles was okay. I swear to God, I felt like I was on a drug trip during that. Anyway, Phantom, we leave it at you.
So yeah, I did watch those two. Watch Knuckles and Fallout. I like Fallout a little better, but anyway, been watching Transformers Animated on Tubi since it's free. Didn't watch it all the way, and I ended up enjoying it. Continuing my crusade through Attack on Titan. Konosuba season 3. I think season 3 is being worked on.
Yeah, it's season 3. That's the current one.
Okay, yeah. Been watching those episodes as they drop every other Wednesday. Good show. Oh, good show as always. Can't believe it's not on Toonami, but that's a whole entire different discussion. X-Men 97. Holy shit. Great show. Can't recommend it enough. All I want is now for Marvel Studios to bring back Spider-Man. And that's it.
Well, alright then. Look at that. We asked the managed to keep it under 10 minutes this time.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. Zom 100 isn't on the schedule for like the next 3 weeks, so
Not short enough.
We're fine for now.
Not short enough, club.
Anyway, well, let's actually start getting our topics down. So this show ended a couple weeks back, and yeah, Licorice Recoil. So yeah, I can finally talk about it because I watched it way back, and you all grilled me for it. So I really loved it. I mean, like, I don't think it's the best series out there, but it's definitely like one of those that, like, I guess, like, I don't want to say wholesome because I mean, like, there was some moments that were anything but like, I want more Chisato and Takino. Damn it, give us a season 2. Like those last couple episodes with her, like, essentially on a death clock with, like, I think 2 months to live, and just like when I was watching it for the first time, I kind of thought, wait, like, are they actually gonna do some Yuri stuff? Like, are they? Is she actually gonna do like some type of feeling confession? But like, no, like, they end up having the whole terror attack, and then like she gets an extended lease on life. So I mean, hey, she can live longer now. But I'm just like, damn, like, it was literally just the thought of, God, just kiss already. I mean, other than that, like, the whole thing about like her essentially being raised to be like a killing machine for like Yoshimatsu is his name, only for her to not want that, and then it's one of those like never meet your hero moments to where like he's literally like you're like, God, such a waste. Like, why, like, you know, like, her entire world just crumbling before her. That was like so messed up. And oh God, I mean, at least he ate shit in the end, but by his old boyfriend too. But overall, I do want to say that really love the show. I enjoyed it a lot. I want there to be a season 2. At first I thought this was based off like some sort of light novel or manga, but to my shock,
No.
this is an anime original. I mean, there are some manga adaptations of the first season and some light novel side stories, but for the moment, they did say there's a quote unquote animated project in the works, but that could be anything. It could be a season 2, could be a movie, or it could just be like freaking, hey, 30-minute special or whatever. But the point is the show is really good. I really want there to be more, and the fans got what they wanted too, because I mean, like, I think I said this when it got announced, but like, there's a fan base for this show which got super excited when it was coming to Toonami, because they wanted more eyes on it, because not a lot of people really talked about the show. So it having a Toonami run kind of like boosts its chances of being seen. Which, you know, it got my eyes. It got Phantom, Sam, Logan's. Kind of a similar thing I feel with Zom 100, although Toonami's dedicated to, you know, committing to the delays portion too. But I think that's it for me. Sam, I know you saw it because I made a deal with you. So what do you think?
It was okay. It's fine. I didn't really love it, but I didn't hate it either. I think what it does well, it does very well, and that is that I liked the characters. I like the situations that they get in, and I like the terrorist in it. But I don't know. Like, I kind of view it as like Gunsmith Cats light. It's not the same thing as Gunsmith Cats, but I mean, like, they're basically police officers, basically.
Secret police officers.
But yeah, like, for what it is, it's a fine show. So, like, the best anime of 2022 when it premiered, but no. I don't even know if I would put it in, like, a top 10 list of that year. I would have to go back and see what aired that year and watch some of them. But
I think wasn't one of the shows was Made in Abyss season 2.
Well, I didn't really love season 2 that much. It's still a good show though. But you know, I had fun with Licorice Recoil. It's a good show. Sorry, it's a good show. I recommend it.
All right then, Logan, did you ever watch it? I know I told you about it, but like, I don't know if you actually like took the time to see it.
So I was behind on it. I ended up kind of binging it like Sam did. So, but I did end up getting the chance to watch it. Honestly, I think the comparison to Gunsmith Cats, like, you know, like you said, it's not exactly the same, but like, you kind of get the same general vibe from it. Like, that's a really good comparison. But yeah, I mean, I liked it. You know, I would agree. Like, it didn't do anything like super exciting, like break the mold kind of thing, but it was good, and I mean, it was a good fit for the block. Especially because it was finally something new coming off the dearth of new content that was last year.
It was like that.
What are you talking about? We got Fooly Cooly Grunge.
I'm sorry. What? You mean there's more than one season of Fooly Cooly? No, that's you're full of shit. You're making that up. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. No. No, I don't believe it. No, I'm sorry. No, but like that's the thing is, it was a good fit for the block, and I think, I mean, if they do end up making a second season, depending on what this new animation project ends up being, I'd like to see it land on the block. I mean, honestly, it was nice that, all things considered, I mean, the show aired in summer of 2022 for its original release, and we got it, beginning of 2024. That's not so bad. I would kind of like to see him do a simuldub release for it if it ends up being a second season, just because, like I said, it didn't do anything super exciting on its own, but it was entertaining enough that I'd watch more. So,
yeah.
I just, the biggest thing I worry about is if it is a new season, considering it's been over a year since they announced the project, and then there's apparently been nothing about it since. I kind of worry that it's going to end up being like Attack on Titan in a sense, where there's so much hype around it, and when it finally shows up, it's not going to live up to its own hype. And I mean, not that I think the second season of Attack on Titan was bad or anything, just, at least for me anyway, it didn't feel as good as the first season. And so that's what I worry about something like that happening here, is if it's a second season, and it takes them another, who knows how long, that could be kind of concerning. But I mean, I guess we'll see. The big question is, because I think that, the first season, they advertised so much at Anime Expo 2022. I kind of wonder if assuming they're somewhere along with this new project, if we won't see something at Anime Expo this year about it again, because Aniplex always has a huge presence there, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they have actually made some kind of progress on it, that we hear something in a little over a month.
Hopefully, but wouldn't they make some sort of convention announcement though? Like, hey, come to our panel or whatever, or something like that. Because wasn't good example was Demon Slayer. They had a Demon Slayer panel at Anime NYC, and that's there when they announced that it was coming to Toonami, the Mugen Train and the Entertainment District. I don't know. It's just, well, I mean, I guess we could have some surprise announcements too.
Well, and it also doesn't necessarily mean an announcement for Toonami. I'm just talking about more of a broader announcement. And Aniplex would be probably a little more cagey about that, which they have been in the past when they've actually announced new, because the thing is, it's not even technically a new announcement. It's just finally giving information on it. So, I wouldn't rule it out, but at the same time, yeah, you do make a good point. It's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. Well, Phantom, you said you just recently saw it, so what do you think about Licorice Recoil?
Kind of on the same boat with Sam 1. It's not bad. Although I can't picture the main character without looking like Omni with a gun.
Well, he does.
I never really thought of that.
Yeah, especially considering the voice actor for Pomni and what's her name. But yeah, that's all I really had. Wasn't much to say. Even though I've been kind of watching it the day after it airs on Toonami on a Sling on Demand. It was fun while it lasted.
All right.
Well, I think fun is the best way to describe Licorice Recoil. It's a good, fun show.
Yeah, yeah, I was. I just really want there to be more. But yeah. So I guess we'll move on to our sorry, cut out there. I guess we'll move on to our next topic. We had fun with Licorice Recoil. Did we have fun with the next show? Boy, were we too optimistic.
Midry? I don't know what's mid.
Boy, were we too optimistic.
Boy,
that
I
wasn't
had
our
my
fault.
expectations in check, and I'm like floored at the results that they gave us. Holy shit.
Ninja Kamui came to an end, and I just want to say it is not the worst of the originals, but it is the most disappointing. But the trailers when they were coming out looked amazing, and the first episode was amazing, and actually it's kind of funny because I think after episode 5 played, Silver brought up a good point. He said that the trailers and all the marketing shown only the first 5 episodes because he noticed that within the first 5 episodes we've seen everything that was in the trailers. So I don't know.
That's
so then
a good sign.
So all of a sudden we just realized, so what we're about to see now is technically uncharted territory. So what's going on here? And then episode 6 plays, and he's getting revived by Emma, who's shocked, surprised. She was actually a ninja, not a FBI. Well, she was an undercover FBI agent. And the minute that they showed that she was working on giving him a suit, and then at the end of the episode where he puts the suit on, and they had that preview for the next episode where he's fighting the gay guy. Immediately, I was like, oh no! Don't tell me that the rest of these fights are gonna be with mechs and CG.
Now, to be fair, not all of the fights in the second half of the show are with the mechs. To be a little fair,
like one. They had one.
I never said all of them. I just only said that there's a scene or two that may have like actual hand-drawn action in it.
And what's actually crazy too was that when they got to this eventual rematch, or like that he was gonna have with his friend, when they got to this rematch that he was gonna have with Zai, and they were with the mech suits, we were already like, oh, great, here we go, another one of these. Also, tend to notice that the opening reuses like stuff from the show, because like his fight with Zai when they were in the mechs was just the opening. But yeah, oh boy, they're fighting with mechs, and then out of nowhere they punch each other, and all of a sudden they shed the suits, and the preview for the next episode actually showed them going back to 2D. Hell yeah, let's go! And then that episode plays. It was amazing. It wasn't even just the fight he had with Sai, but there was like a little scene with this one ninja girl, I forgot her name, who was protecting knockoff Elon. She was going at it, and it was like some nice 2D action, and we were all like, let's go, 2D action is back. And then they played a preview for episode 12, and Yamaji is back in the mech, is in a mech.
Like, you motherfuckers, they had switched us.
Let down, and then that final fight, man. The episode
you didn't like the Dreamcast cutscene? They put a lot of work in there.
The Dreamcast thing, it literally looks like a video game. It's funny too because the way the episode played, it literally kind of felt like a transition because like they're like we're bringing all of this to an end, and it literally cut to black for 2 seconds, and then the fight played. That literally felt as if someone had like an error on the editing timeline or something.
Or they
No.
wanted to pull a Sopranos.
See, what happened is that they were actually preloading the scene. The CD needs time to load the data. Okay.
Yeah, those GD-ROMs are a little slow, man. You know, technology from 1999 takes some time to spin up these days. You know, those optical drives aren't, they're no.
And you can like hear the Dreamcast just going. Oh, poor Dreamcast, they're dying over there.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm gonna clip this and just share this with the group. But yeah, that final fight sucked. Like, and then Zai comes in to protect him. And can I just say, the way Joe wins makes no sense. He all of a sudden like remembers, or like the suit responds to your feelings, and it goes through like a freaking transformation, and then all of a sudden he can use Zai's technique, and then that's how he.
Such an asshole.
Oh
God.
It's.
And you know what the worst part is? Isn't there a Switch game scheduled to release in like 4 days?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Wait, no, it's 4 days. Like, there's a date on it already.
I think
Yeah.
it's supposed to come out on the Switch like this coming week. So,
Yep.
but like, what blows me away is, what are the odds that the Switch game actually makes like any of the mech stuff and the rest of the environment look more meshed together than the seemingly, at least reasonably high budget anime? Like, that's pretty bad when you think about it.
Yeah. Well, isn't it supposed to be like a 2D pixel type game? I don't know.
It's like 2.5D. It's like on a 2D plane, but it's like 3D models. I wouldn't mind. I'd say I wouldn't mind if they went for like a way forward type aesthetic, but no.
Oh man, if they went for
anyway.
like a Shovel Knight NES or Famicom, that would have been so good. But no, this show can't be good. It can't be good. It's a Toonami original. Toonami originals can't be good.
What sucks is that it started off so strong. Those first few episodes.
Alright. If we're gonna have a discussion about this, let me say this: is that when I saw the first episode, I was like, okay, that's really good animation. It's really good animation, but it needs work with the characters and the storyline. So, okay, that's the first episode. You would imagine that over time that the series progresses, that you learn more about these characters, you get to understand them more, and you understand why Joe is doing the things that he's doing in the show. No, that's not what the show's about. So what is the show about?
It started off with like this revenge plot of him avenging his dead family, and now it all of a sudden goes into this whole thing of like ninjas need to show emotions. Like we can't like live our lives by outdated code and all that, and like your wife's dream was for you to live on and all that, and it just what were you doing? But the reason I said it started off strong, I wasn't really talking about like the story, but just the fact that like we had an original that was getting so many people watching it. Like, you had more than just your Toonami audience watching. You had actual like people on the internet talking about it. Internet influencers. You had Saving the Beast. You had Glass Reflection looking at this show, and immediately after 5 episodes, it dipped, fell off instantly. Like, in the beginning, like no joke, like there were statistics, like in the beginning it was overtaking Solo Leveling, like the current simulcast at the time, it was overtaking Solo Leveling, and at the time it was overtaking, because I think the live action Avatar came out at the same time, around the same time, that the numbers for that was high, like on Max for that were higher than like Avatar and what was the other one? There was another one that came out. Was it Quiet on? No, not Quiet on Set. But the point is, it had people looking at it, and I'm not. And Steve looked into this too because he does more with the social medias. Everyone says as soon as the mechs got introduced, they fell off. Like as soon as they started wearing the suits and they went CG, that they fell off.
Here's a funny thing. When I was writing my review for Ninja Kamui, I have a review coming soon. I immediately, because I had to Google in like all the characters' names. I'm like, did this character have a mech suit? So I typed Zai mech, and the first thing that pops up is a Reddit thread that says, "Is it just me, or is just the mechs make the show worse?" Something like that.
Yeah, so yeah, people don't like the mechs. And you wanna know what's funny too? Because I think I still have it. I might edit this in. I went on Facebook because I think I went to get one of the promos that Toonami posted. And there was a post, like one of those like For You type posts. And it had Ninja Kamui, and it was just like breaking news. The next Ninja Kamui episode is gonna go back to 2D action. After a couple episodes of boring CG fights, we're finally going back to traditional animation. Let's go! And they got like a whole freaking
stupid optimistic bitch.
And it was just like it's so sad that something like this exists in the first place. I'm just. God, like what were they doing? You had Sung-Hoo Park, and then you had what's his name, Chad Stahelski, who was the action director for John Wick. I think I'm correct.
He was the actual like movie director for John Wick.
Oh shit! Yeah.
What the fuck?
So yeah, he directed the final fight. Like they showed the behind the scenes stuff. Like they posted that.
Like the choreography and shit, like, dude, like if that's him animating, like, I mean, like,
I don't know about him animating.
Like, over 20 years late for the Dreamcast stuff. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think it was him animating, but like, I think he was like directing, because they had stunt performers who were like actually doing the movements. Like,
he was basically the stunt coordinator, or like the mocap coordinator for it.
See, that's cool. I kind of wish that there was more like hand-drawn fight sequences, because the show gets ruined by the terrible CGI mechs. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, but you want to know what else ruins it? The dub. And
yeah, the dub's not great.
Can I just say, I am not a dub hater. I prefer dubs. Like, currently I'm watching Kaiju number 8, which is a simulcast, and it has a simul dub. I'm choosing to watch the dub. If I'm watching a new anime and I have an option for dub, I'm picking dub. The dub for Ninja Kamui is not great. It is not. They had High Dive again. I mean, yeah, High Dive.
They got Sentai.
Sentai. That's what it is.
Sentai is a toss-up for me, because sometimes they can produce some really, really good dubs. And then they give you shit like Ninja Kamui and Shenmue. Sorry, Shenmue fans, that dub's not great.
And I'm just like, okay, you have like some of you got like the good ones. You got like Lucy Christian, like veteran, like playing.
Jeremy G's in this. There's a lot of great talent in here. It's just they're given terrible direction. Everyone sounds stiff and bored. Like there's no real like deep emotion. Like how can I feel for the characters when you don't emote that well?
I said this in the first when we talked about our first impressions, but like whoever was playing his son was so bad because like he just had like the same type of like it's an Oni are the bad guys, and like it was just like that for so long. But the worst sounding one that like it was so bad every time she spoke, I straight up like felt like my ears would bleed. His wife. Every time she pops up in flashbacks, in my opinion, she's the worst of them because it's like You're supposed to essentially motivate our main character to keep moving forward. She's also your wife, the mother to your child, and all she sounds is like, "Hey, you feel it? The baby's kicking. We're gonna have a child soon. Oh,
Wow.
we need to escape. I made these a mass," and it's just like,
Y'all.
So
why
like
you
at least as far as that goes, like I can't substantiate this, but I've seen comments on it before. I can't remember what the anime was, but I saw a clip the other day where it was a Sentai dub, and this girl was laying on top of a tent, and somebody was like yelling at her, and they're like, you're not supposed to sleep on the tent, or like, but the thing was, the emphasis, they put it on the wrong word. I think the way that it was supposed to be was, you're supposed to sleep in the tent, not on the tent. And instead they were like, you're supposed to sleep in the tent, not on the tent. Like, and they put the emphasis on sleep incorrectly. And it's like, anybody who listened to the mixing should have been like, hold on, we need to do a retake on that. But from what I've gathered from reading around online, a lot of Sentai's dubs, because they're effectively done so cheaply, they don't have time to do a retake. It's like, if you record the line and the line hits the words that are in the script, whether you emphasize it correctly or not, and it makes any sense, it doesn't matter. You hit the lines, you hit the lip flaps, it's done, moving on. And to me, that goes, like, we see that with all kinds of other stuff, like, you know, I don't really remember that in the Shenmue dub, but yeah, in Ninja Kamui, exactly. Like, some of just the intonation that people had, or like, it feels very monotone, or just things just don't feel like they fit the scene.
yeah, like.
I mean, there have been like, sometimes you get direction from the Japanese side telling you, "Hey, this is how we think you should sound like in the dub," which is like, I feel like that should be like pushed back a bit, because it's like, well, American-speaking audiences can tell the difference between good acting and bad acting.
Well, yeah, I mean, like a good example for me with that is, you know, there's been a bunch of name pronunciation changes in the new Gundam Seed dubs, and especially including the movie, where there was a major character who was named Gilbert Durandal in the old dub, and actually even in the redubs from like 2015. Well, apparently Sunrise mandated that they match how his name is spelled in English in the movie, and so now, because it's always been spelled Delindle, they've changed his name from Durandal to Delindle. And like, one of the other main characters, Lacus, is now pronounced as Lacus. And it's little stuff like that where the voice team has gotten, honestly, in my opinion, a little over defensive, and they're like, well, we worked with Sunrise, and Sunrise says it needs to be said like this, so we just did it the way they said. It's like, yeah, the thing is, there's a certain point where you should really be pushing back at them, because I understand they're the production company, but, you know, we speak English, they don't. Like, I mean, and then obviously that's a broad generalization. I mean, of course, there are plenty of people who speak Japanese and English in Japan, just as there are plenty of people who speak English and Japanese in the U.S. But, you know, the point being, you know, if you're a native English speaker, yeah, at a certain point, you're gonna know better. And, you know, I don't think it's wrong to want to push back, even if the Japanese side is like, oh, do it like this. Now, granted, if they put their foot down and go, nope, you're going to do it like this, we don't want to hear otherwise, then okay, fine, you're stuck. But, you know, at least make an effort at it. And, you know, that's what makes you wonder. The thing, though, with Ninja Kamui is, you have to question how much input the American side has as the producers.
I would assume that they have at least some, because it's an American production.
Right. Well, so it's like, if you sit there and go, you know, I understand that, you know, you wrote it thinking this, but, you know, this is intended for our audience, and our audience is going to expect it to be said like this.
Yeah, I wanted to say too, because when Ninja Kamui was playing, we had the dub at midnight, and then they would encore with the subtitled version at 3:30, and the Japanese actors do a hell of a better job, conveying the message compared to the English ones. Like, his wife actually sounds like a human being and not Siri on your iPhone.
I after like 2 episodes, I was like, nope, no. And I did check out like random episodes dubbed, but
I was gonna say some of the worst ones, like his wife is the worst. Some of the later scenes she's in, where she should be showing more emotion, like when she's having this heart-to-heart moment with Emma, or like whatever her name is when she was a ninja. She's just like so bored. She's like, you're trying to, get this girl who had like a terrible upbringing and her face is disfigured. You're trying to, befriend her and say that, no, you're beautiful, and you're just like, you have a nice face. Or it's like, no, your face is good. I like it the way it is. And it's just like, every time she talks, I straight up, in my opinion, she's the worst. She's like, out of everyone else, she's the worst. The standouts, in my opinion, were Emma, which is Lucy Christian, who, Ochako from my hero, Nami from One Piece, so she's great. And Mike, the FBI guy, I don't know his actor.
Mike was okay.
Mike was good. And Zai, somewhat, like when he was having that fight with Joe near the end, and he was getting all angry because he was like getting PTSD to like when they abandoned him. Like, he was actually going pretty hard there, and I actually, it was good. But like Joe, most of the time, not great. Then you had knockoff Elon Musk, which that whole plot, by the way, just what was going on there. You had Etika from Etika World Network, rest in peace, in there as well. Oh, I guess like the gay guy too. He was pretty good. He actually, gave a good performance, mainly because he was talking about wanting to fuck Joe a lot. Yamaji sucked. You're trying to build this guy up as like the final boss, and like, this just sounds so like.
Okay. Ugh. I really want to know. I want to be a fly on the wall during the process of this entire show, and think, was this show always going to be ninjas with mechs? Because on paper, that sounds cool. I'm not gonna lie. That actually sounds like a really cool idea, but the execution just is not there. And Jason DeMarco has kind of pointed out multiple times when he had a Twitter account. He got rid of it. He got rid of his Twitter, but he did mention like a few times during the Ninja Comics run, like, "Hey, we wanted to make a show that was super violent because you don't see those anymore."
In the beginning, it was not anymore now.
It was pretty tame, even at the beginning. Like, if I'm comparing this to other super violent shows that Toonami has ran,
I just saw like Parasite.
There's Hellsing Ultimate, Parasite. There's Primal, there's Dead Man Wonderland, there's Black Lagoon. There's a ton of shows that Toonami has aired during its Adult Swim run that have been more violent, more gory, and way better. It's just, it frustrates me on so many levels that they want to say like, oh, well, our influences were Ninja Scroll. Ninja Scroll is a fucking awesome movie. It's been a hot minute since I last watched it.
What scares me is, the real question is, were they inspired by Ninja Scroll the movie or Ninja Scroll the TV series? Because if you've never seen Ninja Scroll the TV series, I can see where they would have been inspired by that, because, quite frankly, it's crap.
Yeah, I never saw the series. I'm only familiar with the movie because the movie is fucking awesome. I love that movie. It's so good. But Ninja Kamui taking influence from that, I don't see it. I just don't see it. It's so tame compared to anything else. Like, even for Toonami, like,
it's just so weird with like the amount of like twists and turns the story goes, because then you have like all of a sudden like Elon Musk is trying to betray the organization, but the organization's coming back at him.
How about we also talk about anime Jason DeMarco? Because I'm just like,
I mean, I still think it's funny that Jason was like, they asked for pictures because they wanted to put the staff in as cameos. I thought I was just going to be like in the background and then get killed or something, and then it turns out I'm a major character. It's like, wow.
Aren't you a producer on the show? How did you not know that you were in the show? Like,
no,
seriously.
And the other thing too is like, okay, I can understand if he has a role in a single episode. The episode where he was introduced, it ended with him and Mike driving away, and they got caught in a crossfire. I legitimately thought Jason died in that scene. Like, I thought he got caught in an explosion and Mike got away. I legit thought that's what happened. So when he showed up in the next episode, I was like, wait, he's alive? How?
I am so perplexed on their decision of making him a plot important character. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
He has nothing to do. He literally is just in the
background. Like one
scene.
He has like one scene at the end of the series, and that's it. Which that could have been like handed off to like anybody. You could have handed it off to fucking anybody.
You know what you could have done? You know what you could have done? You could have introduced him, right? Had him in that one episode, show that he's good with hacking skills, and then he could have pieced off in the end. Maybe be like, I'm done with this or whatever. And then in the last episode, when they needed someone to stop the hot satellite, Mike could have called him up like, hey, I need you to do me a favor, and boom, nothing would have changed.
Oh,
it's just so.
I think it's funny that basically Silver has basically given like a plot by point, like, okay, here's how I would handle this better, here's how I would handle this character arc better, here's how I do this better, and it's like you're pointing out all the obvious flaws and then basically fixing them, and it's basically the structure is the same. Like the sad part with Ninja Kamui to me is that it showed so much promise, but it never fully delivers, and that's just disappointing on so many levels. I don't think of it as like the worst thing ever I've seen for Toonami originals like that bar.
I mean, we've seen fully grunge. Come on.
I mean, at this point, I would still rewatch the show if it ran and it was on like, say, 1 o'clock and there was something on after that I wanted to watch. I'd still leave it on. Like, I wouldn't be like, I'm gonna turn it off and come back in a half an hour. Like, it's not like offensively bad. Like, it's not Blade Runner.
I mean, I could rewatch
Blacklist. Well,
I could rewatch those first 5 episodes over and over again. And when they did that marathon of when they did the marathons, where 1 week was the first half and the second week was the second half, and I was like, okay guys, let's see how we all thought this show was going to be good, and there goes all the best parts of it. It was like, damn, remember when we were excited? What happened?
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned, earlier on that, a lot of the preview stuff that we saw was all from the first 5 episodes before everything sort of went topsy-turvy. It's funny because it reminds me of something that Paramount has done with various Star Trek seasons. Like, sometimes they'll give the critics, they'll go oh, it's a 10-episode season and we've given you guys the first 4 episodes, and the fans will sit down and watch the first 4 episodes and they'll be like, okay, yeah, this is pretty good, maybe not the best episodes, but I'm enjoying the plot, it's pretty good. And then all of a sudden the next episode comes along and it's the first episode that the critics didn't get advanced screener copies of, and suddenly it goes to complete shit. And I mentioned earlier that I'm watching Star Trek Discovery, and this season, which is the final season, they gave the critics the first 8 out of all 10 episodes, and this week's episode was episode 9. Now, I have not watched it yet, but from what a couple of friends have said, they're like, yeah, it was suddenly, everything that's been great about this season just seems to have disappeared. And it's to me, that feels like what they did with Ninja Kamui in a sense. The only difference is I don't know if any critics or anybody got early screeners for it, and how much they might have gotten. But it's kind of similar in the way they promoted it, in that they're like, oh, here's all the previews and stuff, and look at all this stuff, and it's showing off all the stuff from the first few episodes, and then suddenly it's like, oh, okay, now we've seen everything that was in the promos. Let's see what comes next, and that's where everything goes off the rails. Like,
I think
I
with
just
sorry.
no,
I think with the screeners, I think they only gave them the first 2 episodes, maybe.
which that feels like that's a Warner thing, because I feel like that's in the past when we've gotten screeners, we've only gotten like the first 1 or 2 episodes. So
For
that's
Primal,
probably
it was
more of
the
a Warner thing.
first 5 episodes for season 1. It was 5 episodes because they were doing a 5-episode marathon.
True, yeah,
So-
but I mean, still, like, you know, that doesn't necessarily surprise me, you know, if that's all they gave out. But still, like, just looking at it from the promotional standpoint, that's, you know, suddenly what they're using.
Can I just
you know,
say?
Oh yeah.
Can I just say? Anime News Network once again just tore the show to shreds.
Oh,
They were the ones that came up with the whole Dreamcast like comment like regarding the last.
I mean,
episode.
it's not wrong. I mean, what drives me crazy about the freaking CGI is, like, anybody who's watched Code Geass Akito the Exile, it's the 5-part OVA 2012. Sunrise was like going big into trying to do like CGI mecha stuff, because, you know, obviously traditional hand-drawn mecha work it's expensive, like, you know, to get real good-looking stuff. So the thing is, like, if you go back and look at that OVA, especially the first episode, there's some scenes of the nightmare frames that, if you ever watched Code Geass on Adult Swim back in the day, you compare it to the 2 seasons where it was all, you know, traditional animation, and the CGI in that show was really rough, especially for an OVA. But it was 2012. And the thing is, if you look at some of the more recent stuff they have now, like when Gundam Origin aired on the block, that all used CGI mecha, and it still had hit or miss spots. You know, I mentioned seeing the new Gundam Seed movie. That used mostly CGI mecha. Looked
Gundam
fantastic.
the Witch from Mercury.
Yeah, Witch from Mercury. Like, Sunrise in the last, you know, 10 to 12 years has clearly made leaps and bounds in trying to get their CGI mecha to integrate with the stuff that they all still, you know, draw traditionally. And, you know, it's not perfect, but you can at least recognize the effort, and in a lot of cases, it meshes in just fine. And that's what drives me crazy with Ninja Kamui, is it's like, this feels like a 2010 era CGI effort, and it just, like, it's like, why? I mean, you know, unless the budget was massively cheap, and then we're finding out that it's like, oh, well, you know, yeah, everybody thought we were only making 12 episodes and we made 13. It's like, yeah, maybe you should have made like 7 and poured the budget into not cheaping out on the CGI, because
Or
if we find out they didn't cheap out on the CGI, they got robbed.
I think what would have been really cool is if they did hand-drawn mech scenes and have them be very less frequent in the show, because I think that would impact the fights more. They would actually have like there could be like dramatically an edge in battle if one of them uses a mech suit. That could actually be interesting. The way that they use it in the show is not interesting at all.
Yeah. See, and I would definitely agree with that, because yeah, exactly. If you made it something that was interesting enough to the point where it was like, okay, fine, you introduced the mech suits in episode 6, and it's like, holy crap, like this is really cool. Then you make the audience have to wait like, you know, 3 or 4 episodes, and it's like, God, I want to see them do it again. Like, that was so cool. Like,
Yeah, and it could be like in dire situations.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Joe only straps on the suit when he believes that he can't win a fight. Like that gives stakes to the battle, instead of just being like, here's the ultimate trump card, a mech suit. It's like, what the fuck? This feels like it just came out of nowhere.
And my thing too is that I'm not I'm not against CG, especially CG anime. We've kind of seen improvements with that in like Studio Orange with like Trigun Stampede. What else? There was
I mean, like Blade Runner, Black Lotus, if I'm ignoring the character models, because I still don't think those character models look good. The background art and CGI art assets in Blade Runner, Black Lotus was really, really good and high quality.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is like, you know, Black Lotus, like you said, with the exception of the character models, because they're kind of but like you can see where the effort was put in, and like it shows, and like because that's the thing, as much as I think Black Lotus was a disappointment, visually for the most part, I don't think the show looked bad. Like I think it nailed the look that it was supposed to have, and that's the problem is like Ninja Kamui looked good. But then as soon as you introduce those CGI mechs, they just stick out like a sore thumb.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll never understand how it was supposed to be always part of it, but like at the same time, it feels like a last minute addition. But
hey guys, we just found out our budget's been slashed. So let's add more mech fights in there because we're gonna save some money.
But I think we've pretty much gone. Well, Phantom, I know you've been pretty silent on this. Sorry for us rambling, but like, what do you think about Ninja Kamui? Sorry, we were going off. We were ranting because that's
no. Those rants were worth it.
But what do you think?
I mean, just listening to your rants, they're very validated. It was good until the mechs showed up, and I don't know. Plus, it's been hard to try to catch these episodes with my work schedule because some nights I'll watch Toonami, then some nights I can't, so I have to wait till it's on Max. So some weeks I'm watching on Max. So,
were
Max,
you done with it?
Just a little rant here, Max. God damn it, Warner Brothers, fix your subtitles on your site. I hate it. I hate how all these major corporations are like, we want to be an anime. Okay, how about you make it like tolerable for me to watch subtitle shows without going into like multiple settings? Like that's a personal grievance, and that's a different rant.
Don't even get me started on Hulu.
Say what you will about Crunchyroll, they suck, but their subtitle system is state of the art. And I mean, the worst part is
like Netflix is also like leagues better.
Well, the thing is, it's like literally Crunchyroll's subtitling system is the same subtitling system that fan subbers have been using for 20 years. Like they just have a rendering engine that works with that stuff. It's the same stuff I use in Discotech. But like,
I was also
like the thing is, like for all of Crunchyroll's faults, at least their subtitles are workable and they're good.
Well, Sam, I was also gonna say, yeah, Netflix's are good, but try watching an English dub with captions or quote unquote captions of the dub, because then at that point it doesn't work, because they just take the Japanese subtitles and paste it over the dub, and no. But anyway, we're going off topic, so I guess we'll give our final thoughts on Ninja Kamui and then move on. And all I can say is that
it's not the worst Adult Swim or Toonami original. It's certainly not the best. If you want a Toonami original with CGI mechs, go watch IGPX. It's far better.
Now soon on Discotech Media Blu-ray.
Yeah, shameless plug.
I'm so disappointed, and I think disappointed is the right word to use here, because this is a show that had promise. There's there's talent behind the show. There's clearly a lot of talent behind the show, but it just does not show up in the final product, and the final product doesn't really know what it wants to be. And I'm kind of done, kind of like looking forward for the next Toonami original, because I'm like, I've been burned too many times with these things. It's like, Housing Complex C. Housing Complex C wasn't good. The Fooly Cooly sequels, I mean, I like Shoegaze. Shoegaze was good, but the Fooly Cooly sequels were not it.
I'm not throwing in the towel on Uzumaki yet, just because Junji Ito is like.
I refuse to believe that Uzumaki is a real thing. I'm thinking that's vaporware. That's vaporware.
I am literally. Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say, Phantom?
No, I was gonna say there's also that Watanabe show or Lazarus.
I
We'll see.
worry.
We'll see.
I was also gonna joke around. It was like, but Sam Uzumaki this year, supposedly, hopefully, not
I will
delayed
say
again.
this. I think I've mentioned this to Logan, is that if Uzumaki is not out this year, that's a massive failure for Toonami because that
Oh,
show was
100%.
announced 5 years ago
I was
at
at the
Crunchyroll
freaking
Expo.
announcement for that. Like that announcement predates COVID. Like
Yeah,
I
It
was
was
there
it was
at
the
Crunchyroll
first
Expo for
original.
that. Yeah.
It was technically the first original to be revealed.
Maki from Production IG literally told me, told those of us from the squad that were there, don't miss the Crunchyroll panel in like 20 minutes because there's going to be an announcement you guys do not want to miss. Like we were stoked on that. We were there when they announced it, and we're still waiting for it.
no. I mean, like, yeah, sure, COVID happened. It's 2024. Where the hell is Uzumaki? You still working on it? What do you mean you're still working on it? You said this thing was going to be out in 2020. What, were you just going to have a JPEG of a show for 30 minutes for 4 weeks?
Yeah, and also that it was supposed to be a subtitled only airing, but now all of a sudden there's a dub being made. Which I'm just saying, if you got Sentai on this again, get out. I
Don't cheap out. Like, god damn it, don't fucking cheap out. Like,
Hopefully
get Bang Zoom, get like Studiopolis, get somebody. NYAV Post.
Hopefully since IG's involved, maybe they'll use like NYAV Post because there's like connections to some of the staff at NYAV and Production IG. That would be really nice.
I mean,
yeah, IG USA wasn't didn't they commission the dub for Housing Complex, and I think that was done at Bang Zoom, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
And that was a decent dub.
And again,
that was okay.
Did this show come from the mind of JJK?
Well, he was
the director. He was the director
the
of
first season.
Season 1, yeah. I don't think he directed season 2.
He did not, because season 2 looks a hell of a lot better than season 1.
Did he direct the movie? I don't remember.
I don't think he did.
Okay.
I don't think he did.
So he only was the anime. He was the director for season 1, and he's been a director for like God of High School and a few other shows, I think. And he's been in the industry for a very long time. So again, like, talent is there.
And this is technically the first show of his new studio.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully not the last.
Yeah.
No, apparently because apparently they're making a show for quote unquote Disney, but it'll be Hulu in the US. Yeah, like I remember hearing that they're making a show for Disney that'll probably go on Disney Plus and Hulu over here. Which, don't I'm not gonna rant about it because Hulu's its own thing. Because everyone went before me, but I guess my thought, I don't know if I still stand by this. I might have to rethink, but like I said that it was the second best original behind IGPX, and unfortunately that's not a high bar considering how some of the others have been. But now I'm kind of wanting to rethink that. Maybe I might put this behind like fully alternative. But it just pissed me off because like it had a strong start. You had everyone watching this. You had hype. You had the attention of everyone. You had more than just the Toonami audience watching this, and you fucked it. You fucked it. I'm so angry, and I'm just and I gave this show so much promise in the beginning, and it I think we let out everything.
It's good to to let out like feelings like this. It's cathartic. Yeah. Fuck this show. Let's move on.
I give it a 6 out of 10.
Maybe
5.
5.
What about you, Logan? 5?
Yeah, 5.
I think I'm with Phantom on 6 because there were moments I liked, but just
the best moments in Ninja Kami were the hand-drawn fight sequences. But if it really wanted to be like Ninja Scroll. It needed to be over-the-top violent, and it just never gets there. If it wanted to be a strong core emotional story about revenge, it never reaches those points either. And it's just kind of in this weird middle zone where it's just like, it's fine, I guess. The action sequences are okay. The CGI is literally like the most awkward part about it, and I won't lie, I got a really good laugh out for the final boss scene because it's just like
the final fight. Just there was actually
they really want to. They like the sad thing is that they probably were like, oh man, this is gonna be so epic. Look at the choreography and fight sequences in it. It's like it looks like a Dreamcast game. That's for sure.
Actually, there was one moment in that final fight. Every time I see it, I keep thinking of the stock like sound effect. You know, like the cartoon sound effect of like of like speeding up. You know, like when you're speeding up all of a sudden. The Scooby Doo run. There was a moment in the fight where he's like he has his sword.
Somebody with more talent in like video editing, please put Scooby Doo sound effects or like Hanna-Barbera sound effects over the final fight scene. It's gonna be hilarious.
So, I guess we can move on now. Pretty much after Ninja Kamui, I do not have any expectations for any future originals. Uzumaki's never coming out, and Lazarus, who knows? But yeah,
and JJK will never be on Toonami.
Shush.
Got him.
Got him.
Anyway,
something a little more enthusiastic.
Yeah, so something better than Ninja Kamui. We got a trailer for the second season of My Adventures with Superman. It actually came out the week before the last episode of Ninja Kamui. So what's actually funny was that Adult Swim I don't know if I want to say this is the typo. They put out the trailer, right? But like at the time because we only saw the Twitter post, and the Twitter post was only like a 15-second cut of the full trailer. So we didn't really, because they said May 25th at midnight. But May 25th is a Sunday, so we're like, wait, so is this Toonami or is it not? Because are we saying May 25th going into 26th?
May 25th would be Saturday. They dated by like May 25th at midnight would be still Saturday because it's still a Saturday time slot.
It's like how Japanese TV has like something will air at 2 a.m. and they'll be like, oh, it's at 26:05. It's like there's only 24 hours in a day. How the fuck does that work?
It's military time.
But anyway,
there's only 24 hours in a day.
But anyway, but it's actually funny because we were going back and forth on this, and the full trailer was on YouTube, and we were like, "Hey, did anyone on the bus think to watch the YouTube trailer?" So I go to watch it. Trailer literally says Toonami next day on Max, and we're like, "Hey guys, we've been spending like half an hour trying to decide if this was Toonami," and the trailer says it
just
right there.
I think I told you.
We've been going back and forth. We've been going back and forth on that for like a half hour.
Listen, nobody actually watches these things. What are you? I mean, are you kidding me? Come on, like, there's a trailer out. Sweet. Do you think we?
I think I told you. I think I told you, Logan, that I knew beforehand that it was going to be on Toonami.
I believe you did, yes.
Because I believe Adult Swim Canada accidentally leaked their schedule early. Oops. So that happened. So I kind of knew ahead of time that Superman would premiere on Toonami, which it should have for the first season anyway, because that just makes perfect sense. And action shows should air on the block regardless if it's anime or Western. They just fit the block better than just a Thursday night on Adult Swim. Like what the fuck? I
think they only did the Thursday on Adult Swim because at the time there was Unicorn Warriors, and Superman was after Unicorn Warriors, so I guess it was just easy to like fill in that time slot when it was out.
Some people have speculated it's because, well, Friday's on Max, they could be maximizing viewership counts on a Friday, but I just personally think, like, why not just have it be Saturday night and then the next day it'll always be on Max, or not always. Knowing how the world is going right now, nothing will be on these services for long.
Welcome to Cable 2.0.
But, for right now, Ninja Kamui is still streaming, and same with like Superman. These shows are still available to you right now.
At the very least, despite how Ninja Kamui was, I wanted to get a physical release, which can't say the same. I think Fully Cooley, the 2 seasons, like 2 and 3, got a physical.
Oh yeah, that'll be all handled through Warner Brothers.
You say that, but like we had like Fena and like Black Lotus, and like those never did. In fact, they got written off.
Well, those are complicated because those are co-productions between Crunchyroll and Adult Swim, and because Crunchyroll has its name attached to it,
they don't
and
want
Adult
to do
Swim
anything
also has
with Adult Swim.
Well, no, it's just a more complicated matter. Since Adult Swim wrote off its shares, it's probably never going to seem likely that we'll see a physical for those shows.
But anyway, but anyway, back on topic. My Adventures with Superman season 2. We got a trailer. It looks great. At the time of this recording, we will be seeing it tomorrow, like this Saturday. And we'll save our thoughts when the season ends and we do like another podcast episode. But going by the trailer, I'm pretty excited because like got the introduction of Lex Luthor, which
Hey y'all, Scott here.
Yes, he looks like Scott Wozniak because every white guy with glasses looks like Scott Wozniak, who just looks like every Spider-Man actor put together. Yeah, so but the thing is that like because he was in the first season, and I'm thinking about it now because I didn't think about it then. His name was Alex. They called him Alex in the first season. It made sense. Why didn't I think of that? And then they're teasing Brainiac, which he was teased at the end of the first season, but he's gonna, I guess, play a part in this season. And I was not expecting this, but I guess we're getting Supergirl. So I guess that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know too much of what's gonna happen. I just know that I guess the stakes are gonna be raised. Like there's gonna be like some, higher stuff happening, and I just hope more revelations. And I just hope that because the show was greenlit with a 2-season order, so technically we won't know the future of this until after.
I don't expect it to get more. I think this is it.
Might be it. Who knows? But
some things were being worked on.
Well, I just hope that, unlike a certain other show, that we won't be let down by this.
You never know. It's Warner Brothers. They always let you down.
Yeah, they just love to write stuff off too.
But I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I don't really have much else to add aside from season 2 is going to be looking a lot bigger.
Sorry.
No, you can continue. You were saying?
No, I was just gonna say it's just nice to be at least we're getting DC content in Toonami.
Yeah, I know. Like that isn't just like a one-off movie. But another thing was I guess like the scheduling because we didn't know the schedule. So like I was saying it for a while, but like looking back on it, I was kind of wrong because we're having 2 Ninja Kamui marathons. My Hero Academia season 7 comes out on the 4th. Oh, we could be getting season 7 after the marathons because usually there's always like a 3-week gap in between. But then like the schedule came out and okay, My Adventures of Superman headlining, which also they take off Zom 100 already when it was going to be off for 2 weeks thanks to the mayor. They really just want to commit to how it was handled in the simulcast. Great choice there.
Womp womp.
And then Demon Slayer is coming back for a rerun, which whatever. Last show always gets a rerun. But because the first episode of Demon Slayer is an hour long, so then the week after when Zom 100 comes back, all of a sudden Ninja Kamui's going in rerun mode. And I'm sorry, but I'm a little burnt out by freaking Ninja Kamui. It's kind of getting up there, not as bad as Primal was when we had to go through an entire near year of reruns. But it's kind of getting there. Like, I guess on the same level as Black Lotus.
I mean, like, I at least like Primal. I will fucking sit down and watch Primal a million goddamn times before Ninja Kamui.
But here's the thing: you weren't watching because you don't watch Toonami, or at least like not as.
I don't have cable.
When the Primal is great, it is wonderful, but when you have to see the Sea of Despair episode where they're on the water over and over and over and over again, at some point, but anyway, that's getting off topic. But like, so the schedule for this will be My Adventures of Superman headlining is on 100 at 12:30, One Piece at 1, Shippuden at 1:30, DBZ Kai at 2, Ninja Kamui rerunning at 3, Demon Slayer Ninja Kamui reruns at 2:30, Demon Slayer reruns at 3, I'm and here's the thing is that I kept saying so many times that, oh, it has to be My Hero, but then I just realized something. Last week was the first dub episode that they put on Crunchyroll, and I just a light went off in my head. You idiot! It's a 3-week gap between the dub, the simul dub, and the Toonami run, because I'm thinking that, oh, they just need a couple weeks, Toonami will get it. But then the dub just started, so the dub needs some time, and then we'll see it on Toonami. So if anything, I'm predicting we'll see My Hero Season 7 in July, maybe when Zom 100 ends, or I don't know. But yeah, I mean, schedule's alright, I'm not looking forward to seeing, because here was the other thing that kind of hurts me, is when the marathons were happening, keep in mind, I do archiving, and I had to stay awake for both of those marathons, because the first marathon decided, because usually when it comes to marathons, the bumpers, they usually have maybe a couple unique bumpers, and then it loops halfway in. Like, the bumps usually loop halfway in. Usually after like 3 episodes, they start to loop. The entire night was completely new bumpers, and I was literally, by the end of it, I'm like, please, for the love of God, repeat it. I am tired. I want to end this. I want to edit it and upload it and go to bed. So I'm a little burnt out on that damn show. But not as burnt out as Silver. Silver had to watch it, I want to say, 4 times to make some thumbnails, and did he have a fun time making those thumbnails. I went off topic again, but point is, My Adventures of Superman Season 2 is coming to Toonami. Sam, what do you think?
Cool. Great. Let's go.
Logan?
Season 1 was good. I'm excited for more. Bring it on. Like, it's good. It's new content on the block. You're not going to hear me complain about that unless it's, bad.
Hopefully it's not. What about you, Phantom?
It's great. You'll love it.
Yeah. So I guess we should move on now. So this is okay, so this is technically old news, but we didn't know for the longest time. Like, it was so weird how they were handling this. But so Rick and Morty is getting an anime, a 10-episode anime done by this, I don't know the names, but I know it's the same studio that did those shorts. Like, there were the 2 shorts. There was like the Genocider one, and then the summer one. And those were good. I actually really like them. The Japanese actors do a good job at like playing, the family. So during I remember this, when the first episode of Ninja Kamui premiered, they were like, hey, here's a sneak peek of Rick and Morty the anime. And we're like, oh, okay. So then when the last episode of Ninja Kamui played, they did another sneak peek of Rick and Morty the anime, and they confirmed it will come to Toonami, which we didn't know that for the longest time, because I think they kept saying that it was just going to be an Adult Swim thing. But now all of a sudden, the Rick and Morty anime is coming to Toonami. So, okay. And, I mean, hey, it finally gives Silver the ability to make a thumb, and hopefully they don't, waste it, because the number of times they play one of those shorts supposedly during Toonami, only for them to cut it off before the shorts, always ceases to amaze me. Never ceases to amaze me. So, I mean, I guess, Rick and Morty is now canon. I mean, not canon, like a Toonami show now. So, I'm excited for the anime. I don't really know too much. They've been putting out a bunch of sneak peeks though, so we know it's coming this year. Because I think season 8 is going on a delay, so it won't happen this year, but the anime will. And
I believe it was recently leaked, or like in some fashion. I think like another one of those Adult Swim Canada things. They had some kind of promo art that was like coming this summer.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And if that's the case, maybe potentially after Zom 100, I could
Probably more so after Superman.
Or maybe that too, because they would want.
Because I think what'll happen is that whenever Zom 100 ends, that'll be where My Hero Academia premieres. And then after Superman, the Rick and Morty anime airs, and then after Rick and Morty, who fucking knows?
Uzumaki, let's go!
Nah.
I mean, if
I think that's vaporware. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's vaporware.
If we assume it does exist, that would make sense though, because if Rick and Morty's 10 episodes and they started sometime midsummer, that would push them out to October, or close enough to October. And let's be real, releasing a horror anime in October is kind of the logical place to put it.
Yeah,
but
at this point, I'm just like, at this point, just kind of put it out there. It's like, oh, you're hyping it up for an October release? Oh, good. Like you weren't doing that the past 4 goddamn years when this thing was being developed.
But anyway,
the biggest thing I worry about with the Rick and Morty anime is the shorts work because they're shorts. It's one of those things where, like, Nicktoons used to have this sort of problem where, it wasn't even Nicktoons necessarily, but like, I'm trying to remember the name of the show. Was it Kablam, which probably predates some of you.
Oh no, I remember Kablam.
Yeah, I was saying, the younger people probably won't remember it. Yeah. So Kablam was like a mini, like it was usually like 2 or 3 shorts and a half hour long. Kind of like the old cartoon stuff.
I do know back in the day there were a lot of those, like, like cartoon.
The action figure shorts were my favorite, and then like the Prometheus and Bob stuff was pretty good.
Right. So
like
like
now,
the thing is, and so Action League Now is kind of what I'm thinking of. In that, the thing is, like when it was part of Kablam, those shorts worked because they were short enough. They didn't wear out their welcome. Like they were funny. They gave you a laugh, and then they didn't overstay their welcome. Then a different short would play as the next part of the episode, so on and so forth. Then when suddenly it was like, oh, Action League Now is light years more popular than any of the other Kablam shorts, we're going to turn it into its own standalone half-hour show.
No.
And it worked when they were doing just like, oh, here's the Action League Now segments from Kablam, but we'll air 3 of them instead of just one, as part of an anthology. That was fine. But then when they started trying to make like longer episodes, it wore out its welcome, and that was the exact problem. And what I'm worried about with the Rick and Morty anime is those shorts were entertaining because they were short. They did something different. They were fun, but they didn't run it into the ground. And I just worry that, can the anime manage to hold up for a full, obviously I say it's a half an hour, but we're looking at like 23 minutes worth of content, roughly. But like, can it hold up to being extended out to that, or is it actually going to end up being a bunch of little shorts? Like that's part of the problem, is we just don't know. But I don't know if I trust that it's going to be able to do that.
I mean,
we'll
like
see.
this is like one of those super blind shows mainly because like at least we know what we're getting into with Superman. At least we knew, well, we thought we knew what we were getting in with Ninja Kamui. But like they've been very scarce when it came to the Rick and Morty stuff. Like we're just now seeing footage. For the longest time, all we were getting were like maybe still images if we were lucky. But like now they're actually starting to show some footage. And the thing is with Rick and Morty is that if you've seen the show, like I don't even know where the story's going. To be fair, like because I was watching it when it was coming out, and I know like some of the best stuff was like I think in seasons 2 like through 4, and then like 5 and 6 were really sour moments. And then I actually didn't tune into 7, but apparently from what I heard, 7 is actually really freaking good. And it's ironically the first season without Royland. Let's not go there. So like I'm just like I wonder like what are they gonna do? Like is this, I mean it most likely will be its own thing, but at the same time like will it have like some of the same energy that like the first few seasons had and what 7 had? I don't want to say 7 because I haven't seen it, but yeah, like I guess that's a good way of putting it.
The other thing I'll be curious to see is, and to give Ninja Kamui some credit on this, the block has never really dabbled in subtitled anime. For a long time, Jason pointed out that the subtitles are poison. People see subtitles and they turn them off. And
when you get over the 1 install barrier of subtitles,
which is a very valid point.
I think if there is a Rick and Morty anime premiering or Toonami, it is going to have both a dub and sub option.
See, no, unless they've changed it, it's not. That's the thing. They said specifically it's going to be sub only. Now, granted, they said the same thing about Uzumaki, and supposedly that's getting dubbed. So whether Rick and Morty ends up dubbed, that's up in the air. If we go by what they said, then it's not going to, and that's what I'm curious about. Is Ninja Kamui was an interesting experiment, but it was also put in, I don't want to call it the death slot, but it was the end of the block. Like it didn't have to perform super well compared to the dub premiere at the beginning of the block. But the thing is, if Rick and Morty is going to be somewhere up in the first hour, because that's honestly most likely where they're going to put it. That's going to be interesting to see how the change in viewership tendency when it comes to subtitles will possibly make or break it. Because that's one of the things is if you're trying to draw in the Rick and Morty audience who's used to watching a show that's obviously made in English, suddenly throwing a show at them and being like, hey, check out this anime, it's it's Rick and Morty, it's a spin-off, this and that. Oh, but it's subtitled. It's one thing to sell anime fans on watching a subbed anime. It's a very different thing to sell the general public on watching subtitled content.
Yeah, because Americans are stupid.
I mean,
well, I just don't think most people want to read, and that's just the big issue and barrier of why subtitles are just kind of a hard sell for most people. We're getting better. We're getting better at it because a bunch of nerds grew up as anime fans. So
I think part of the problem is when you compare it to if I'm watching a subtitled show on Blu-ray or on streaming. If I miss something, I can pop back and rewind 10 seconds and catch what I missed if I wasn't able to read something quickly enough. When you're at the mercy of broadcast television, and yeah, granted, okay, you can make the argument that if you have a DVR, so be it. Well, I don't have a DVR. Like, I can record stuff with because I have YouTube TV, so I technically have a DVR, but like
you could also rewind.
To be honest, I've never actually tried that, so I was unaware that I could do that. But
I do it a lot since I record.
Fair.
Yeah.
But that's also only the people who are subscribing to a service like that. For people who are still using traditional cable or satellite, if they don't have any kind of a DVR function, and you miss something, if you miss something critical, you're screwed. And so I can understand the reluctance to watch something subtitled when you're at the mercy of, I can't rewind and go back and catch something I missed. And yeah, I mean, of course you can argue like, well, if you go to the movies and you watch something that, is 50% subtitled because, there's a foreign language or an alien language or whatever, you have the same problem. And yeah, that's fair. But I also feel like there's a difference when it comes to the movies in that I'm at the movies, I'm focused on the movie. And yes, I can miss something, but I'm less likely to miss it than when I'm sitting on my couch at home and my phone buzzes or something pops up on my computer or, whatever. Like, there's more potential for distraction at home than, than elsewhere. And yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that plays a factor in why people have issues with subtitles when it comes to broadcast. And I get it. Like, I completely understand why that would be.
I mean, well, honestly, I don't really look at I look at some comments when it comes to anime fans and like some anime critics. I don't dare step into the world of cartoon and animation, like critics and fans, because that is a different beast, and I do not want to touch that. I guess we'll give like our final thoughts on this. Like Rick and Morty anime, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just hoping that it could not be like a pile of trash, like have the same quality that some of the best stuff in the show had, like in the first few seasons, and and keep the subtitles. I mean, granted, Logan brought up a good point, but like, don't cheap out. What about you, Sam?
Oh, I don't care. I fell off of Rick and Morty years ago. I'm just like, that's cool. That's neat. Hopefully Rick and Morty fans show up for it. And if not, I don't know who this is for then, because I don't really think this will appeal to Toonami fans too much.
I mean, I hope it does good. Also, like, in terms of falling out Rick and Morty, so did I, and apparently the recent season was literally one of the better ones in years, so I gotta look into that. Anyway, Logan, what about you?
If it manages to make a Szechuan sauce reference and they bring it back again, then it'll be worth everything.
You want to know what I want?
I need that sauce, Morty.
I want them to do that same joke, but with like another outdated, like discontinued product, and bring that back. Mainly, I love mac and cheese crackers. They those were so good. Bring them back. Anyway,
just reference an old like Gundam kit that you can no longer get.
There you go.
Fancy, what about you? What do you think?
Well, it's Rick and Morty. It's an anime. What more do I want? I mean, I need to actually. Honestly, that reminds me. I gotta watch all of season 7. It's on Max. I think I missed out on it.
It's funny too, because I was starting to fall out of it, and season 7 I tuned into the first episode, but I didn't go for the rest. And literally, from what everyone's been saying, that season 7 is like way better than like the past 2, especially since Royland's not involved. Mm-hmm. So it's like I need to I guess like the one time, like when I actually decide to fall out of it, that's when I'm hearing it's really good, so I'll have to check it out. So
I think the topic that I'm excited for.
So you want to know what's funny is that we always say like there's pieces of news that you could predict that they could announce, but then there's other pieces of news that we will never see something. Thank you, Sam. Bless you. So I said this when they announced that One Piece crossover, because I mean, who in their right mind would expect an episode from like 10 years ago that never left Japan all of a sudden to get an English release? But I bring this up because it's another case of holy shit, what the fuck? Who, like, out of nowhere, like this just caught us by surprise. So like I was at it, it's always when I'm working, it's always when I'm at work that these things happen, because like they did this with Zom 100, and they did this with Demon Slayer, but like, so this got announced. I think Eric brought it up to us. Hey guys, big news. So when I go to their Facebook, words that we never once saw in a million years was coming, and that is that for the first time in over 20 years, and I'm not counting that Blade Runner night, Toonami will air outside of Saturday on Friday in the evening time, like the 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. time.
The OG slot.
The OG slot. As a part of Checkered Pass. Well, is it a part of Checkered Pass? I don't know.
No, it's its own block.
It's just using the same time slot that uses.
Yeah.
So we are getting
similar to Checkered Past is that Toonami Rewind is what they're calling it. Toonami Rewind is basically Checkered Past but Toonami. They have reacquired Sailor Moon, the Viz dub, not the original Deke dub. Obviously, they're rerunning an hour of DBZ Kai, and they reacquired OG Naruto.
Way better than Shippuden. Also, thank you for my thunder sound. Yeah, so we are getting a second block of Toonami called Toonami Rewind, which
let's fucking go.
It is focused on the older stuff. So Sailor Moon, DBZ Kai, which, you know, if you're airing that on Saturday, why are you gonna air it? That makes no sense. And why two blocks, like 2 slots, DBZ Kai? Like, if anything, give that to Sailor Moon. That one needs it more. And original Naruto, which is ironic because Shippuden's about to end in like 10 episodes. Oh god, I hope they don't bring original Naruto in after Shippuden ends. But holy shit, Toonami is airing outside Saturday at 5 p.m. and I was like, what? But like, what's crazy for me, this is specifically me, because I'm a graphic designer, and I love a lot of the Toonami brandings of the past. Is my keen eye noticed that they used the 2012, the 2004/2012 era, and Jason has said that they will be using some past branding, but mainly we've assumed that it's probably going to be the 2012 look that they had and the pipe era graphics that they used when they did the 20th anniversary. I don't know if they'll ever pull out anything else, but Jason is kind of saying he has some surprises, so who knows? But
and
it's literally...
This is also around the anniversary of Toonami returning also. That
it's as close to the like relaunch.
Close enough.
Really get it.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. And the other thing, Sailor Moon is back, which is like a show that hasn't seen the light of day since like I don't know the year, 2001. Y'all know that more than me. Like
something like that. Yeah, it's
been a while. That way. They tried getting Crystal years ago, and they lost that war with Hulu. So,
but
I don't know.
I was also gonna say too. Well, I thought Sailor Moon was unacquirable, like even the old show.
Nope. Viz had reacquired the show years and years ago, redubbed it, and honestly, like even if Viz didn't, Toei has the license. It's Toei's show.
Yeah, and Toei's definitely chummy with Toonami, with like, you know, how they're handling One Piece and all that.
At least they're chummy with someone.
Yeah.
Did I say that out loud?
Anyway, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. It also kind of hurts me because Toonami in itself is perfect for me because it plays at midnight, and I'm most of the time home at midnight. This block's playing on a Friday at 5 p.m., which is too much. I have a job, and I never get home like until like most of the time either 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. So I'm most likely going to be missing this. And as someone who does archiving, I literally have to set a DVR and record it. And I want to hope that at the very least I can load up YouTube TV on my phone and have like maybe a spare 10-15 minutes to try and at least see the first like couple minutes. Although my job is unpredictable, so who knows if I'll get the chance. But I mean, it's insane. Like, that's literally the words that I have here. It's insane. I guess, Sam, what do you think?
This is cool. I kind of view this as a little experiment to kind of see, okay, can this work? Can we do Checkered Past but for Toonami? Because that's exactly what I'm thinking of right here. Is just like, hey, here's a bunch of old shows that you remember from your childhood. We're gonna rerun them for you at this time slot, and maybe that appeals to people.
Oh well,
I'm also...
I know it appeals to one person, but I'm not going to say that on record. Sorry, you were saying.
But I'm just kind of like, I don't know, because it's like, well, I'm not expecting Crunchyroll to help out, so I'm basically like, well, what do you have to offer with this block in the long term? It's like, oh, cool, you have this rush of nostalgia. Okay, well, you need a little bit more than that. At least with like Checkered Past, those are free, quote unquote, free shows that you have to run. You know, you got them from Cartoon Network. They have been removed from Cartoon Network's side. They are now Adult Swim shows. So at this point, it's just like, okay, that's fine. You wanna do that, but I also am kind of curious to see, like, does that make sense? Does that economically work? Can you pay for these licenses, have them be cheap enough, and still manage to consider to be a success? I don't know what their metrics of success are. I don't see what viewership is. I don't know what the cost is for any of this. Obviously, I'm sure they're not paying an arm and a leg because they already got DBZ Kai, and I doubt they're paying a lot for OG Naruto. But I mean, these aren't like cheap licenses. They still have to pay something for them.
I'm actually surprised to see original Naruto on there, and it's actually like in 4:3 HD, because they did put out because they recently put out a Blu-ray, so it's technically gonna be like the first time seeing the HD master of
upscaled.
Naruto, or upscaled. I'm no expert in this, but you know, upscaled master of Naruto on Toonami, because I did not watch it back in the day, nor did I watch it when they brought it back in 2012. But like when they brought it back in 2012, that was like the old footage that was like stretched to widescreen, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, like one other thing you mentioned was that because Naruto had its own special Toonami opening, so like curious to see if they keep that, or I don't know how it works. But anyway, sorry to cut you off.
Who was talking?
Oh, I thought it was you. Oh, okay. Well, Logan. Or you have anything else to say?
It's just like, I guess right now, it's just like, it's a wait and see for me to see if this is actually going to last longer than just a few months. Because we don't know. I don't know. I have no clue. If I were to make an assumption, I would say like the suits in charge are probably crunching numbers right now and being like, does this make sense? If we keep going, we either have to just rely on these 4 shows forever, or we have to like pull shit that's free. Like, I could see Samurai Jack rerunning on here because that's something that's in their vault and they can just rerun it whenever and not pay a lot to run it. But the like acquisitions, like I don't expect Crunchyroll to support this thing. They're not supporting Toonami right now, so why would they even support this thing? And as for maybe older shows in like the vault, like Samurai Jack, I don't see them unwriting off shows like Megas or Symbiotic Titan, even though that'd be cool. I'd like that. Get to it. I'd like do that. Well, do that, Adult Swim. I want that. Do that. That's fun. But otherwise, I'm just like, okay, we'll see where this goes. Maybe this will be a success. Maybe it'll be a failure. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess like one other thing I should say was that like, would this actually be a success? Because this is not the first time they tried experimenting with Toonami in prime time. If y'all remember during 2018 when they experimented starting at 9 p.m. all the way to 4,
Oh yeah.
and that did not last long. That wasn't successful. So I'm just wondering, will history repeat itself here? But we'll wait and see. Anyway, Logan, what about you?
I mean, I like the idea of it. I think it's it's a good idea. My biggest concern is, realistically, it's the same concern when we talked about Checkered Past when that was first announced, and that is you're trying to target a sort of nostalgia block, but you're starting it at 5 p.m. and that's kind of janky in that most people, I mean, your typical 9 to 5 worker, well, they're a 9 to 5 worker. Like somebody like me, I have an advantage of I work from home on a regular basis. So yeah, I can turn my TV on at 5 o'clock and watch something. But on a Friday, especially on a Friday night, I mean, Fridays are often days when people tend to go out. So, I mean, yeah, Saturdays are too, but that's part of one of Toonami's strengths in where its current time slot is that
Midnight.
It's a late night block. So even if you go out and like, oh, I went to a movie on Saturday night and was out till 10 o'clock. Oh, well, I got home at 10 o'clock. Toonami's on at midnight, like no big deal. But
Yeah.
having the block start at 5 o'clock, you're torpedoing anybody who's commuting. Now, for me, I would probably lead off with DBZ Kai for the first hour, because then you at least build in a little bit of buffer time on your lower stakes title to people potentially missing it. Like if I've got a 45-minute drive to get home, and
Yeah.
okay, the first hour of the block is DBZ Kai, big freaking deal. Like I really don't give a crap if I miss it. It's DBZ. I mean, yeah, it's DBZ, but again, it's DBZ. Like
I've seen it a million times.
yeah. So whereas your big investment is in getting Sailor Moon, and you're going to want people watching that. So sticking it at 5 o'clock is not exactly going to be helpful when the intended audience isn't potentially home. And,
Yeah, I mean,
and I guess the thing is like. The other thing I look at is if you're spending the money on Sailor Moon, I don't understand why that's not also being put on Saturdays. Maybe it would be a good idea, maybe it wouldn't. I'd honestly look at doing another extension to 11:30, and what I would do is on Fridays you run, let's say the first week this airs, you air Sailor Moon episode 1 on Friday, whatever time slot you want. Then on Saturday, you air Sailor Moon episode 1 in the 11:30 slot. And then, obviously this really wouldn't work till the second week, I suppose, but week 2, Sailor Moon episode 2 airs on Friday. On week 2, on Saturday, Toonami, 11:30 you run episode 1. 12 o'clock you run episode 2. Or either that, or you re-air the Friday episode at 11:30, and then you air a quote unquote new episode at midnight, because that way you're still showing a new show with new episodes to your core audience, which is your Saturday night Toonami audience. So that way nobody's missing anything. And the thing is, you could honestly yank DBZ Kai back off of the Saturday block and just stick it on Friday, because again, it's DBZ. We've seen it on Saturday Toonami so many freaking times. It's filler right now. Like that, and it's ironic that DBZ Kai, the show that cuts out all of the filler from DBZ, is now the Toonami block filler in a sense. But like, I just don't understand the idea of why, why they're putting the money into getting Sailor Moon and only putting it on the Friday block in a time slot that most of the audience that you're hoping are going to watch it probably can't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, like, because my job, like, a lot of the times I'm leaving my job at 6. So yeah, I'm already like losing an hour of that, and like maybe I come home, but like at the same time, when I come home, I'm like, get like eating dinner, like taking a shower, and blah blah blah. By the time I even settle down, when I get home, it's already 7. And for me, I'm actually more curious on the in between stuff, like the intro, the bumpers. What are they gonna do? Because Jason was like kind of hyping this up. Like, so like apparently it's still gonna be the same Tom and Sarah. It's still gonna be the same shit that we have on Saturday, but they're bringing back old branding. I'm assuming it's gonna be 2012, and then the 20th anniversary pipes. But who knows? They might have more. But like, that's the stuff I'm really interested in. And I said this already, but like, this is gonna be a situation where me uploading content from this is not going to come ASAP like it is in Saturday, because I can't tune into this the day that it comes out. The content on this will be uploaded hours later, because I'm probably just going to DVR this and then like watch these on my own time and then get the footage. But yeah, like, I mean, like Logan said, like a lot of the times people are commuting, so like I honestly wouldn't mind if they put DBZ first and then Sailor Moon and Naruto later. But yeah, sorry Logan, not to cut you off.
No, I mean, that was pretty much it for me. I mean, like I said, I like the idea. I think it's it's good. I have concerns about the choice on the day and the decisions on what to air. Because I think that if you're putting the money into Sailor Moon, which I think is welcome, especially because the new dub is I mean, I know there's a lot of nostalgia around the old dub, but the new dub is good. Like it's competent, it's solid, and getting it on TV is great. But I just think that missing your core primary Saturday audience is a mistake, especially if you're going to air DBZ 3 episodes in the span of a little over 24 hours. And I think you're missing the forest for the trees there if you're not putting Sailor Moon on the Saturday block as well, even if it's a repeat of the Friday episode.
I also have a little of trepidation with future shows, if they ever bother with future shows. Is like, what can they air in those time slots that's going to be appropriate, right?
Yeah,
you can't have Attack on
Past,
Titan there.
No. You can't really air even some of the older anime that they've ran. Like, you could probably get away with Gundam Wing, obviously, and Big O, but
yeah, I mean, you can get away with a few of those. But I mean, even with like Gundam Wing, do you have to reg up the old censored dub that they did? That was the Duo was the Great Destroyer instead of the God of Death. Like, that there was a reason they had to use those back then.
I think they could maybe get away, because this is technically Adult Swim still, so I think they could maybe get away with airing some of the slightly older stuff, but I still don't want to say that they can, like, air everything. And yeah, in the talks of like other shows, Jason was asking for requests, which is a rarity, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, I mean, what is available to them? Like, what are they going to get? Outlaw Star again? That totally worked out the first time, I guess.
Well, I was also going to say the other problem is that someone brought this up, is that a good chunk of the shows they aired back in the day came from good old Funimation, who unfortunately,
they came from like a bunch of places. It was like Pioneer / Genion.
Well, it's all
Viz
under
Media.
A majority of it is now under the crunchy assholes now. So you either have
or they're just unlicensed, or in like the case of Gundam, Sunrise is the license holder, and then with stuff like I don't know. Discotheque has like a few older. I don't know how many. Is there like a few Toonami shows that are?
We
There's-
have 2 or 3. I mean, obviously there's IGPX, but we know
Yeah.
Adult Swim can run that. Like that's
Oh yeah.
that's a separate issue.
Oh, I mean, I
But
guess
like
they
we have
could.
like one of the things that I know people were asking about when Jason asked like, hey, what would you guys like to see on the block if we could get other stuff? A lot of people said Bobobo. We have Bobobo, but we don't typically bother with TV rights because there's honestly no demand for like even Adult Swim's not knocking at our door going like, hey, can we license this show and broadcast it? So it's like that's the thing is we don't have broadcast rights. Now, granted, that probably helps Adult Swim in that if they wanted to try and license it directly, they probably could. Like they could reach out
Yeah,
to
like
Toei show.
that's Toei. Yeah, it's Toei.
so, like,
So
they
Toei
can-
has the license.
Yeah, so like they're not locked out of it. Like that's perfectly fine. But like then another show, I mean it's short, so I don't know that there'd be a lot of interest in them getting it again. But like Blue Submarine #6,
I recently
that aired on
watched
Toonami
that.
back in the day, and we had the license for that. I don't remember which studio controls the licensing for that.
Wasn't that Gonzo?
Yeah, well, yeah, I had
They were the
to
production
watch it.
studio. But like the
Wait,
thing
wait.
is, like the thing about that is, okay, again, the studio might not be interested in dealing with licensing, because we've already got the home video license and they just don't want to have multiple people licensing it, blah blah blah. So it's like, yeah, there are shows that we at Discotheque have that may or may not be on the table for them to get, either because A, we can't offer it to them because we don't have the necessary broadcast rights, or B, just because the studios aren't interested in bothering with it. So that's another potential hurdle to the amount of content that they're going to be able to get.
Yeah, and it's also again like how much money does this block have? Does this block also interfere with Toonami's main budget, or is this a separate Adult Swim budget thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all them to figure that out. But it's like, well, if this thing has a minuscule budget and we're relying on 2 episodes of DBZ right now,
I still say it should be 2 episodes of Sailor Moon instead of DBZ.
I think it's easier for them to just justify doing an hour of DBZ. Plus, it's a little bit more accurate, because wasn't there, I think back in the day it was Sailor Moon, then you had DBZ. Was it an hour of DBZ? I think it might have been DBZ
could've
then
sworn-
Dragon Ball.
But Phantom, what do you have to say on this? Because I know you're excited about this also.
Well, a little more excited for Sailor Moon because I haven't watched the Viz Media dub just yet. And and honestly, this will benefit me because I work from 6 in the morning till 2:30. So I definitely will tune in to watch Toonami Rewind. But and of course, in terms of show recommendation or show suggestions from Jason before he jettisoned from Twitter, you bet your ass I voted for Hamtaro.
Hell yeah, let's do
You
it.
didn't-
Let's
there
go.
were a bunch of people voting for frickin' Johnny Quest and Blue and Warriors.
Why Johnny Quest though? No, he doesn't even like Johnny Quest.
That makes it funny. I actually kind of like it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Adult Swim. That's a free show. It's in your vault. You can do it. Let's go.
There you go.
I will laugh my ass off if they actually do it. At least for like an April Fool's thing.
Oh, that would be funny.
But
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Not too excited if they decided to throw in like board or something.
I think no. This is
They'll
gonna be
never
like
throw
mainly. No, this is specifically
No,
the
it's
stuff they aired
specifically
back in the
retro.
day.
I'm just wondering if they'll pull something like a Gundam Wing or something.
Maybe. I
Also-
don't know.
Maybe. I mean, one of my picks. I mean, because like I said, I wasn't really like there. I mean, I recently did a binge on a couple of the stuff. I mean, if anything, I asked for like Yu Yu Hakusho, but once again, you gotta go to the crunchy overlords
Yeah.
for that. And they definitely don't like sharing.
And I mean, it would also be nice if they would like re-air Zatch Bell, because that was one of my favorite
That's
animes
Toei?
back in the day.
Yeah, maybe because Toei. You know.
Oh yeah, it's Toei. That's true. But
No,
definitely Bobobo, because I haven't watched Bobobo in a while.
How's that upscale on Blu-ray, Logan?
We didn't upscale it. It's an SDBD,
Ah, okay.
so it would have to be upscaled as part of the broadcast. Which, I mean, realistically, if Toei could provide decent masters, which I think the SDBD masters are pretty good, it could probably stand up to a decent upscale now. Like, I think part of the reason we wouldn't have done an upscale back in the day was just because the show is so long. It's like 76 or 78 episodes. But I mean, realistically, like with the upscaling tech we have now, and even just kind of like general AI upscales, that show would probably hold up pretty well.
Yeah, just overall, I'm pretty excited for this. I just bring it on, man. Bring it on.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll have to DVR it. I might try to attempt to at least see the first 15 minutes of it, depending if I can actually get a window to, because my job is unpredictable. But yeah, and I'll be like recording and uploading it too. Although to say that this hasn't caught the attention of a lot of people is an understatement, and
Major understatement.
yeah. I guess that's it. Anyone have anything else to add to this topic?
Nope.
Disco done.
Well, I guess that finally brings us to the end. Finally. So I
Into our
guess
podcast.
yes. So you can follow me on Twitter. I'm still calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it X, even though they changed the URL at
That's
Samster299.
fuck 'em.
YouTube at Samster299, which the tier list is still happening. I'm
It'll
changing
happen
to,
when Uzumaki comes out.
don't, yeah, I will make sure it happens. And I want to apologize for canceling the last one. But it will still happen. You just it's just you gotta be patient. And I also have to be patient. But yeah, YouTube at Samster299, Blue Sky Samster299, I guess I'm gonna be using more often since Jason moved his Twitter. Then you can follow Toonami Squad socials like Toonami Squad Twitter, Toonami Squad Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We have a Blue Sky, expired merch at Red Bull. I need to keep saying that, and the website where Sam will have his review on Ninja Comedy there soon.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have it done soon. You can follow me on Blue Sky and read my stuff on ToonamiSquad.com.
And Logan.
You can follow me on Twitter at Schmolus1, on Blue Sky at Schmolus. We'll probably have another podcast before the next Discotech panel, so look forward to something with that soon, though. Yeah.
And Phantom, we leave it at you.
Thank you. Twitter, Blue Sky, Phantomstar64. Same with TS Gaming Zone over at Twitch. We actually just wrapped up Hi-Fi Rush. I really loved the game, and at least until Microsoft took down the damn studio. Yay, layoffs.
Rip.
Yeah. So right now I'm just kind of in the looks for another game to be on stream. So, you may never know what game might pop up on the stream anytime soon. I can't think of anything else. Do you guys have any suggestions?
No, not really.
I've been playing Stellar Blade. It's pretty good. It's like a mix of Nier Automata and Dark Souls.
Yes. So I've heard. But I am probably going to also throw in a retro game in the mix. So, yeah. I mean, just let me know if you guys have any other suggestions. Hit me up on Blue Sky at TS Gaming Zone.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess
Oh, and
that
subscribe. We also have a subscribe button. Sorry.
You good. I guess that's it for this episode. Hopefully, when we next meet up, I honestly don't know what to say.
Well, there's
I
a
don't know.
zombie apocalypse. There we go.
Yeah, there you
Well,
go.
at least I don't have to go into work. Anyway,
High school
You know,
bullying.
it won't be delayed. It won't be delayed like 1,000 times either. It'll just be
Hey.
immediate.
Mhm.
yep. All right. Well, y'all take care and y'all have a good night. And see ya.
Later.
Later.
Later.